how to make black velvet covered buttons. For my 3/4 of an inch button, a standard Coats & Clark spool of thread is the perfect size. Silver Sharpies are perfect for marking the edge. Cut it out. Now take your needle and thread, knotted of course, and do a simple running up and down stitch all the way around the velvet. I've done about 150 of these for my black velvet dress project, so I can do this fairly quickly, but don't worry if it takes you a while. Just in and out. Okay, we have our one row of hand stitching going around. We're only going to use the top of the button. I'm going to place it in the center of our disc of velvet so that a little bit hangs over on the sides. Then I'm going to pull the thread tight. You can see that that does a pretty good job of bringing in the edges of the velvet. For the rest, I'm going to use my fingernails and press it in along the edge. Okay, now we have a relatively flat, nice velvet button. To secure the velvet on the back, since we won't be able to fit a back on this covered button, I'm going to start and do loops of securing thread. Right there on one edge, and then about 4 or 5 of these from one side of the velvet to the other. Just catching the edges and giving them a little bit of extra security. Now that I'm on the other side, I'm going to loop it twice, and then it's time to knot the thread and stop. So this is the final button. You can probably see just a few loose stitches to hold that velvet tight around the back. This is what it looks like from the front. Very cute. I'm going to lay it down and not do one but 2 half knots. So one, and I'm going to slide that knot down to the edge of the button, put my thumb on it and pull. So there's 1 knot. And then this is one of my favorite tailoring tricks. I put a second knot in the thread just about a 1/4 inch out. So I've now knotted the thread twice. There is 1 knot very close and 1 knot just that little bit farther apart. When I cut between them, there is now a knot on the end of my needle and thread, and I'm ready to start another button. Velvet buttons are thick in the back where all this velvet is gathered up, so you can't use a regular button back. If you're going to be hand washing your garment, that's just fine. You can sew these on as a decoration. I'm using these as little velvet grapes. But if you are planning to want a garment that needs to be able to be machine washed or even dry cleaned and not spot cleaned, you might consider using a different fabric for your button or purchasing pre-made velvet buttons. For my project, I need over 200 of them, so it's cost effective for me to make them myself and then be very careful with how I use them on the garment. This is Yosa from yosa.com.